Well, good morning, all you beautiful love streamers out there on Facebook and YouTube and Zoom, wherever you're watching from. We'd like to welcome you to the Center for Spiritual Living Charlotte. I am your MC and host, Horace. If this is your first time, guess what? We are so delighted that you have chosen to join us today because with modern technology, we are extremely grateful for this opportunity to touch so many lives, especially as we share these wonderful happenings here at CSL Charlotte. So please feel free to visit our website, cslcharlotte.org. Put in a prayer request and subscribe because we add our recordings to our website each week. So let me tell you all about who we are. Who are these people that call themselves CSL Charlotte? Well, CSL Charlotte stands for the Center for Spiritual Living Charlotte. We are a new thought community living an ancient wisdom philosophy based on the science of mind. This science of mind philosophy was developed in the early 20th century by writer and lecturer Ernest Holmes. Now, Dr. Holmes was a man on a mission. He studied truths from all of the world's religious traditions and spiritual paths. Holmes developed for us a fresh new way for us to look at ourselves and how we fit into our world. He's been referred to as the great synthesizer. So here at CSO Charlotte, we want you to know that every philosophy is honored along with every race, sexual orientation, and physical distinction. We are a diverse, open, and affirmative community. There are many paths to the divine. We may call it God, peace, love, spirit, infinite mind, or the I am presence. But guess what? It really doesn't matter what you call it. What does matter is that you know that this is your power that resonates within you. You do not have to leave your philosophy or nature of knowledge. You can join us at any time. We recognize and refer to many of the Holy Scriptures, such as the Bible, the Quran, the Torah, the Upanishads, and the Bhagavad Gita. That's just to name only a few. So, our vision here at CSO Charlotte is to continue a spiritual community that is creating and preparing a succession of future leaders who can fully integrate, teach, and expose the science of mind principles, messages, and practices that strengthen the mind, body, and spirit of each and every individual. So, one of our aims is to create a high collective consciousness for everyone in this community. And we teach everyone the tools to do just that. So, come and join us as we meet each Tuesday evening for our consciousness meeting at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And so, you're going to find out more about that when Brother Allen gives the opportunities and announcements because you don't want to miss that. So, welcome everyone and enjoy our service as we celebrate this powerful being which lives within each and every one of us. So now, before I pass the mic over to our illustrious spiritual leader, Reverend Rosedale, I want to leave you with this thought. First of all, you need to know and understand that her message today is the power of specificity. The power of specificity. And with that, I want to leave you with this quote. The more specific we are, the more universal something becomes. Let me read that again. The more specific we are, the more universal something becomes. Life is in the details. If you generalize, it doesn't resonate. The specificity of it is what resonates. And that is from Jacqueline Woodson. And with that, I'm going to pass the mic over to our illustrious, powerful spiritual leader, Reverend Rosedale.
Whoa, thank you, Horace. That's so true. about the specificity. That is really phenomenal. Gosh darn it. Here we go. So, that being said, everybody, thank you, Horace, for that. And also, this is CSL Charlotte. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, everybody. And be very, okay. So, this is the Mind Body Spirit Center. And so, with that being said, yes, okay, beautiful. We are the Mind Body Spirit Center. Don't worry, guys. Timmy P got us. We are the Mind Body Spirit Center. So, welcome to CSL Charlotte. So, with that being said, how about thinking about what you are specific about in your life? So, that being said, I would like to tell you a little bit about who's going to open us up for prayer. So our person that's here to open us up for prayer, and we do it to set the tone. But realize this: this is a very dear friend of mine and colleague, and her name is Reverend Sonja Prince, and she's all the way from California. I know she lives the power of specificity, so we're gonna get her to come and pray us in on that. So, Rev, could you go ahead and pray us in?
Yes, thank you, Reverend Rosedale. And thank you for inviting me to be here. So I just want to invite everyone to join me in consciousness by closing your eyes if it's comfortable for you. And I invite you to take a few deep cleansing breaths. You know that we are breathing the breath of God. God is breathing us right here and right now. And presencing the divine within you, I welcome you now to this sacred gathering, this beautiful gathering of CSL Charlotte, recognizing that there's only one intelligence, one power, and one presence. This presence is the presence of love. It is within each and every one of us. It is within all things. And it shows us that all things are possible. I know this power resides within me, and I know that power is love and all kinds of possibilities. There's infinite possibilities within this love. And I open to it each and every day, each and every moment. And as I know that beautiful truth for myself, I know it for absolutely for everyone here. I know the truth, the spirit resides within you. I know that when you open and recognize yourself to it, it imbues you with infinite possibilities in your life. This truth is the truth of love, the truth of God, the truth of the one. This power and this presence is alive in every aspect of our lives. It's guiding us and giving us insights into clarity and expanding our creativity. And what I know about this love, that it resides deeply within Reverend Rosedale. And I know today, and I am affirming today, that she will bring us this truth with clarity. Specificity is what we need to imbue ourselves with, because this power always says yes. It always says yes. So I invite you to open your hearts and your minds. I invite you to just be a sponge for this knowledge, this beautiful truth that Reverend Rosedale will bring to us. She is imbued with wisdom, confidence, and she loves spirit. So, with great gratitude for being in this place today, invited into this sacred space for such a time as this, I bless this service. I bless all those who participate in this service today, knowing that your heart flows with love, knowing that we are hearing the truth, and knowing that when we bring this truth, we call it practical presence and presencing God in everything that we do. I know that lives are changed. Our lives are changed. So, celebrating the presence within each of us today, I bless and give thanks for this service, all its loving participants, all the congregation, everyone that will hear this message today and will hear this message at later times to come. in the future. So I celebrate this day as the day that Spirit, God, if you will, has made, and I will rejoice in it. And with great gratitude, I affirm this beautiful service today with love. And so it is.
And so it is. Whoa, powerful. You know, I love that song, Jeff. I love that idea of presence, practicing presence. That is so far. And practicing present and presenting practice. I love it. But next on our platform is our reader, Melissa Spiegler, the girl from Tennessee. Now, I know she knows a little bit something about what's going on because she loves to do the reading, and she's now going to tell us a little bit about our message, but you're going to hear that from her in a minute. But we are talking again about the power of specificity, and I'm sure Melissa is clear on that. So she is the reading, I call her the reading lover. So, with that said, after she's finished with her reading, then listen to In the Silence by Jack Fowler, because that's where you're going to find specificity really exists. So, Melissa, make it do what it do.
Thank you, Reverend Rosedale. And the power of specificity is also within our reading today. And the reading is entitled The Power or Your Presence is Your Message. And this reading is such a powerful message, and it really comes home for me. I appreciate it so much. Your presence is your message. And this is written by Reverend Rosedale Jones. What would it mean for us to be ocean-born, vast in potential, free by nature to swim with ease downstream, but we still choose to swim upstream? Imagine that we carry the living in the ocean, in the open seas, in our bones, yet we choose to swim in a river. We, like dolphins of the deep, sometimes find ourselves in brackish water, narrow shores, and muddy banks. Why? Because we understand the power of specificity. Brackish water is neither fully fresh nor fully salt. It's a mixture. It's murky. It's uncomfortable. It lacks the clarity and purity of either fresh or salt. And yet, people choose to swim there. Why? Because the journey to our purpose often requires us to move through the in-between places. And because specificity isn't always about staying in clean or easy water. It's about being clear in yourself, even if your environment isn't. We know that even with all our infinite capacity, it still matters which lane we choose. Strength isn't only found in the endless possibility, it's forged in deep commitment. We are like our ancestors. We could have flown free, but instead planted ourselves. Like the grandmothers who saw the world and still returned to the single island to pour in their whole spirit, we are the ones who choose to swim in the challenging waters. Not because we have to, but because our purpose is greater than our comfort. We understand that our work, our truth, our visibility must be rooted in something real. It must be something that rings clear in a specific place, to a specific people. And because all water touches all water, every act of clarity in the body of our river, no matter how narrow, ends up as ripples in the ocean. So we find ourselves asking, what are we doing here in this muddy, messy, compromised place? Remember Harriet Tubman? Well, Harriet Tubman went south. She didn't have to. She was skilled. She was invisible when she needed to be. She could have stayed free, untraceable, and safe in the north. but she chose the kind of freedom that meant something, the kind that speaks across generations, the kind that says, we are not truly free unless we all are. And that's why we're here. Not for survival, not for applause, but for truth, for legacy, for the kind of freedom that lives in unfree space and still breathes. So we should thank ourselves for showing up in places designed to erase us. Our endurance is not just resilience, it's revelation. It writes an alternative into our history. We cannot be drowned. We cannot be forgotten. Our breath, our blood, our commitment becomes our message. Our message carried not just in words, but in the way we live, in the way we choose, in the waters we stir. Our presence is the message. Message honored, message received. And here's a final quote by Reverend Rosedale. If wonder, remember this, if wonder and curiosity is in your bones, there is no need to disturb the depths to prove you can dive. Your presence is the message. And so it is.
It's just beautiful. So we'll start with a short centering. And as we do that, relax your eyes. Either look into your lap or just close them if you choose, but it's all your choice. And just let me invite you to take a deep breath with me and slowly release it. Releasing your muscles, relaxing your body. Because this is what I know. In the silence, when it comes down to the power of specificity, it helps us to generate our strength in the silence. We also find ourselves, like Jack said. So when we enter the silence, we release indecision and we replace it with the power of specificity. So wiggle your fingers and your toes and integrate your mind, body, and spirit. And take a few breaths right now again with ease. And now embrace your energy and the energy of your space and start to come and get with the power of specificity. So I'm going to start with a clear observation first. And that observation is, you know what? We have been trained, not taught, trained like animals in captivity. Trained to be small, stay small. Trained to be silent. Trained to survive instead of to thrive. Now let me just give you the difference between surviving and thriving. A survivor is somebody who doesn't have enough money to get from point A to B. And all they're doing is when they feel like they don't have enough, they start downsizing their life just to match the income. But a thriver is a person who says, wait a minute, I like my quality of life, so I'm going to make more money to keep my quality of life and to continue to grow. But you took the choice and decided, I'm going to survive. Well, there's a difference. So but let me just say this. Unlearn the survival training and start to get with the thriving. And you know, what made me think about all of this is this book by Alexis Pauline Gumbs. And it drew my attention to all of this because this is the month of July where we talk about independence and freedom and all this stuff. America the free, right? The home of the brave and all that good stuff. But she wrote a book called Undrowned. And basically, if you think about it, undrowned, what does that mean? That means that I went through this supremacy world, the world of supremacy, patriarchy, and all that stuff that trained our people to do certain things. But I didn't just survive, I thrived. But what happened in the book, you would be the undrowned. Get it? Because you decided that, well, I see the economy is rising like crazy, but I'd be doggone if I sit here and stay broke because I have to make more money. And you know how that happens with spiritual practice. But again, she speaks that. She speaks to the mind, but she also speaks about the ancestral parts of us. We got these ancestral parts of us because you got to believe we didn't come here by ourselves. My grandchildren and children are not here by themselves. They came through me. Okay, so my mom, her mom, and all the way up the line, we have ancestors. We have to acknowledge our ancestor. But Alexis, what she does is she uses metaphors in this book, and how I love metaphors. And so what these metaphors are doing is this, she's saying that here we got these beautiful dolphins born for the open ocean, yet we put them in a cage, a glass cage for our enjoyment at the risk of their freedom. Well, she says they're brilliant. They are. I mean, I read about them. I even after her book, well, with her book while I'm reading it, I'm looking at a little bit more about dolphins. And you know, they're brilliant little animals. They're free swimming creatures. But the thing is, now when they catch them, they're forced to perform and they're forced to smile even if they're in captivity. So I know you've seen them before. And since I love metaphors, this is the best way for us to get it, how it got my attention. What happens is, have you seen a dolphin train when they jump up and they're snatching the food? They're doing exactly what they're told. They're begging for the food. They're jumping. They're obeying. They're smiling. But you know what? The people in the crowds that come to watch them in these little cages, they start cheering them on because they can't hear. They can't hear the dolphins scream. They took them from miles long waters to maybe several hundred feet with those long bodies. They forced them into a glass tank. But they were born free to roam the ocean. Their spirits are muzzled for show, but yet they're controlled for profit. Does that sound a little bit familiar to you? You see, this is what the thing is. Some levels of how they treated these dolphins is how they trained us. And so the swimming as a metaphor actually drew me deeper into her book to see how she's going to explain how we've been trained. So one day I realized that we were the ones on display. We were the ones expecting to smile, expecting to serve, to entertain, to actually assimilate, join with them, and forget who you are. Do you think that idea sounds a little bit remotely strange to you? But let me ask you this. What about the jobs that we've worked all these years in corporate America? All the many years we worked in corporate America. And let me be clear. This training came from years of supremacy, apathy, and patriarchy. Patriarchy, me and my words. But now supremacy is a fear-based thinking. It has nothing to do with the fact that these people are white men. Okay? But it has a lot to do with the word supremacy. Because they cannot handle, because of their egos, they cannot handle the brilliance of who we are. They have this system, and their system needs us to be afraid of our own power. Do you know how you are kept in fear? By the threats that you hear right now in the news. That's why you will never see me watching the news in my house. even playing it on Facebook. I see a face up there that look like politics. I'm moving on to the next thing. I don't need to know what they do and how they're doing it because they're not going to get in my head. And that's how they keep you in fear. They stay in your head. Your friend tells you, oh, you know what Trump is doing today? I tell them, stop. Nope. I don't know and don't care. Okay, that ends that. I don't need those distractions. Okay? Because those distractions, what they do is send you in deep fear. And now you're telling everybody, you're spreading the word like, what was that guy named who rode around on the horse? The British are coming, right? Yeah, you're just so worried about something that cannot destroy you. But let me tell you this. It doesn't matter what race, creed, culture, religion that you identify with. I'll tell you this, you are still being preyed on by white supremacy, one way or another. Now, I hear people also thinking and talking about clearing generational trauma. I heard my cousins mention it. Now, I know I'm just a different species. I love my family. I love hanging out with them and going to see them and all that. But we don't think that way. I don't think the way they do. But they're thinking that, what they call, generational trauma. No, I'm not a part of generational trauma, okay? But here's the thing with everybody telling me this or talking about that, it makes me wonder, have you forgotten to claim your generational strengths? You got to think about these ancestors that we had and who we came from. But this is where I give our ancestors the credit. I say, because another thing, in Alexis's book, she mentions them a lot. So what I know is ancestors, they really did not just leave us their pain. They went through some, but so do you all the time. That's part of life. But they did leave something that's very powerful, like their wisdom, the courage, the rituals, the joy. You know something else that they have left us and they still continue on? Do you think that every single night you go dreaming that it's all about your little world where you came from and who you are? Well, let me tell you something. They're in your dreams, your ancestors. They're giving you direction still. It's a thing to be listening. I am so into my dreams. So they also left little traits in us, in our blood. They left strength in our bones. They left memory in our cells. And again, direction in our dreams. They didn't come here for nothing, and we're not here for nothing. So get with the program. You know what? If you're going to clear any type of trauma, honor the power they left us. You can really clear it then. If we're too focused on what's harming us or what has harmed us, we run the risk of forgetting what built us. I love metaphors to the point that I love them because they stretch my thinking. And they stretch my thinking far beyond surface level thinking. Now, what I know is when it comes to spirituality, if something sounds simple or basic, we're reaching for a higher or deeper idea. So you know what I do? I use metaphors to feed that hunger of people. And they just love it. They don't realize that they're simply metaphors, but I'm getting spirituality across. See, they don't just deepen talking about metaphors. They don't just deepen the meaning that I'm giving. What they do is they clarify it. They take this abstract thought or ancient wisdom and make it tangible for us. Metaphors also take universal and make it personal, right? And here's the thing, a well-placed metaphor reveals the truth with more accuracy and more specificity and plain language. When you speak in metaphors, it's more plain than trying to get all these esoteric, big old gigantic words and put them in. No. So just when we start to imagine ourselves swimming and you start hearing the first sentence that I wrote about the imagine yourself swimming as dolphins, yeah, we get to see more clearly that, oh, I'm meant to be free. Just like the dolphins, because deep down, we inherently know that we're one with all creatures. So that's why it's very easy for us to associate with the fact that dolphins are caged. Oh my God, I said that. She said that. Well, she woke me up. I woke you up with that fact. That knowing makes it a lot more imaginable, but believable. See, Melissa's reading started out with a very powerful question. And the question was, what would it mean for us to be ocean-born, vast in potential, free by nature, to swim upstream, downstream, yet we choose to swim upstream? What's the easiest way to go, upstream or downstream? You're swimming upstream when you don't use your given challenge to make more money. You're swimming upstream when you say, I don't know what to do with this. You're swimming upstream when you get to ask the person to join your business or whatever and you choke up. We all have talents, and they're the perfect talents for us, and they are the ways for us to make a fabulous living. Man, I love my talents. But here's what the power of specificity is really all about. We didn't swim here by accident. We swam here on purpose. Let me just think about this for you for a minute. When we are specific, let's take, for example, I was looking for a specific place to live. I was being specific. I was using the power of specificity for all these years. But now I found a place I absolutely love. I still to this day feel like I'm on the honeymoon with this place. I'm always walking to go to the mail room to get my packages. I'm walking in this beautiful place. It's beautiful. Now, I swam here on purpose. Get the word? Swam? I swam here because this is where I want to live. And here I am. Well, that's the same thing about you. You swam there for a purpose. So when you use your God-given talents, you start to swim downstream. You don't, and with more ease, because you're not going, well, I can't do this anymore. I can't get a new car because I don't have an income. My income's like, well, make more money and get a car. Well, I can't make that like that because I got to stop buying this. Because make more money and keep buying that. Don't downsize your life for an income. Bring that income up. That's when you start swimming up downstream. Guys. That's what we're trained. Get out of that training that supremacy has taught you. Oh, well, you gotta be treated by a boss. You need a boss to live. Well, maybe you need a boss for a little while. Maybe you want to get a system in your body. But let me just tell you, listen to what else Melissa read. She said, like dolphins of the deep waters, sometimes we find ourselves in brackish waters. She explained what brackish waters are. They're these narrow shores and muddy banks. But why do we do that? Because when she said, because we understand the power of specificity, yes, we may not know it right away that we understand the power. But when you begin to decide, you know what, I'm going to let myself help me than to have someone else. When you're specific about what you want, you need to set the time for yourself. And every so often, you got to set that reflection. Set time for reflection, because you know what? That's what makes you free. Now, I'll tell you, I told you years ago, I owned an Allstate insurance company, and I had it for 10 whole years. But I got it through visioning. Everything I'm getting, it's because of the practice that I'm doing. I do visioning, I do meditations, I do prayer work. I even make recordings for my clients because it empowers them. But here's the thing, with that, I'm saying, once you get that thing, I got this Allstate agency, right? Stayed there for 10 years. But I did a reflection to look at it to say to myself, I wonder. But at that time, I had gotten so engrossed in becoming a spiritual practitioner. I was in spiritual practitioner training at the time. And I was also being trained with Michael Beckwith. He did classes on, we didn't have Zoom then. What was it? Phone conference. We used to do them on every single Tuesday night. I was on that. He did a lesson, then he did a prayer work. And that's what we did every single Tuesday night while I was in practitioner school. So it was, my spirit was bombarding me to, all right, reflect. Is this what you want to do? All you gotta do is simply reflect on yourself. Because see, specificity needed to come. So specificity is not limitation to start going, I'm going to be specific. No, be specific. But what happened was, it is, it will always be liberation. But what is it liberation for? Liberation through clarity. Now let's be clear. This clarity does not come from just anywhere, just out of nowhere. It's inherited from where? Our ancestors. It's rooted and remembered. That's why it's so easy for you to listen to the stories about them, because you remember. Your ancestors are constantly talking to you, talking to us through our dreams, because we see things and say, I was in this apartment that I've never been in for. Just go with it. Try to go down the road and see what it's all about. Because see, we need specificity. We need it so we don't get too focused on what's breaking us or what broke us. So this way we can focus on what is here to build us. Even in California, I had already knew I was going to have a red car when I got to the East Coast again. I knew I was going back, but I also knew all of these things. First thing I got was that red car. But the whole time I said, oh, and now I want this and I want that. Why not? People think because you're being materialistic, there's something wrong with you. Don't you dare believe that. I love the fact that I'm materialistic because it just makes me and I'll go there, quantum field, if you got an idea what I'm talking about, or when you're thinking about it, this power within me. It's given me a reflection, and I'm doing it with precision, and I'm using a little emotion, but not as much precision when I'm doing the power of specificity. You see, I sharpen my specificity and I resonate with my vibration and my spirit and my mind. And so do you. Just give it a chance. So this is how we stay connected to the quantum field. Just thought I'd bring the quantum field in. You see, it's not just by clearing our low vibrations and how we get to do that. It's by amplifying the vibrations our ancestors left us. They left us vibrations. Listen, when you go into the silence, that's why I played that song first, there's peace, there's you just listening. You don't have to talk. You don't have to do anything. Just listen. The thing is, people think so much that they have to talk. You don't have to talk. You can listen. See, they left us rituals. If you listen, rituals, what they call rituals and what people may call rituals are just, to us, spiritual practices. They left remedies. There are so many things that they do that I still handle, which is health-wise, that works so well. They left spiritual practice, of course, but they also left music. The beat is still in us. See, the power of specificity, remembrance. Remember this, remembrance doesn't just dwell on what went wrong. So in the power of specificity, remember that, because here's what it does. Remembrance integrates what goes right with that. So this way you can shape the way you're speaking and stop the stories about, oh yeah, so I'm still mad at him and her and they and wow, ooh, I hate this administration and whatever. Leave this administration to the administration. You got more bigger fish to fry. No, don't fry my dolphins. Okay? That's a big part of specificity. So what you want to do is find out how and what you serve. See, we don't have to just remember the past as a tribute. Oh, yes, we did a great job by thinking about Harriet Tubman. We remember it as inherited power. Think about that instead of just going, oh, that's so nice. You know, and all of the whites that helped back in the day, those were our ancestors too. Oh, they helped Harriet Tubman because you know why? She was invisible when she had to be. Why? Because you don't think that only blacks helped her, you got to be out of your mind. Because first of all, a lot of white people put their selves in that. Those are our ancestors too. They just were not white supremacy. Get it? So it's not that. See, specificity invites you and me to recognize our talents, to know them exactly how we intend to use them so we can be rewarded by them. We need to be compensated for the work that we do. We need to recognize that, wait a minute, I am powerful than all get out. But self-reflection is being intentional about getting that compensation and what you choose to receive. Right now, I mean, one thing I noticed about all four of my folks, my kids, is Isaiah is spot on. Everything that we do together, and I do practices with him, he always do well. As a matter of fact, when he was little, he hurt his hand and got this big balloon-sized thing on the bottom of it. And so I I was taking him to ER. I was taking him in there. He don't remember this. And I said, wait a minute, I got to pray for this. And I went on and prayed on it for him. So we started getting down there. But see, the boy has a belief system that's all his belief system. Anything I say when it comes to spirit, he believes it so much, it happens. Before we can get to ER, the boy his hand was flattened. One time he hurt his knee, his ankle or something. He was limping for a couple of days. I said, okay, enough of this. I went to do the prayer for him. Boom. We was going to ER. We got to ER. We actually sat there this time, and he waited for a few minutes, and he saw this kid crying, her eyes out, because she was in some type of pain. All of a sudden, the spirit mind of Isaiah said, I don't want to stay anymore. I'm okay. Okay, you sure? Yes. And when he got up, he started walking. And I was like, okay. But I understood because he taught me that you got to believe like he believed. Since he was a baby, he was in this teaching. See, not everybody else went through this, but he watched us, he heard us, and he didn't know anything else. So when he goes into to things that go on with his life, he comes out of it pretty good. Guys, our talents are remarkable and they're etched inside each and every one of us. I use mine to the fullest. And this is why I love this law of specificity, because it teaches me to be specific, because it mirrors precision. And it mirrors the precision that's required in the work that I do. And my work, my work is mind, body, spirit, and it's been that for 20 years. There's just simply no room for generalities. So you can't say, oh, I think my talent is this. Okay, you can think that, but if you're not sure, don't be generalizing nothing. You got to know who you serve and who you stand for. That's being specific. That's the power of specificity. You got to be able to create something. So I am in the business of serving people who are not here to dabble. They come here to heal. Some to begin again. Some of them come to regenerate, to dissolve the false boundaries that they did not create for themselves. One of the rewards of the service that I give is when I see people rise whole. Because, see, what I'm doing is mind, body, spirit. Personal training, also with mind, body, yoga, and all of the things I do that people ask me, hey, are you a physical therapist? No, but I'm very intuitive with my talent and I'm good at what I do. But one of the major reasons why is because of research. Thank God we got research. If somebody says to me, well, you know what? I was told that I had a brain hemorrhage, da, 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 da. Okay, but I'm not going to tell you I'm going to heal of that. But I am going to go find out what I need to do as far as moving you, as far as telling you what to eat, and all of those things. Those are the things that I love when I see people rise whole and say to themselves, wow, you know what? Yes, I want you again. I will pay the next round because this is what I want. See, this work isn't casual work for me. It's my life's calling. That's why it's mind, body, spirit, because I serve the whole of you. And so then, that's what I mean. We got to know what you serve and what you stand for, and that's your talents. So the people I work with know that I deserve to be compensated. So there's no guesswork about what I need to do for them because I'm going to do the science. I don't leave spirit floating up there talking about, oh yeah, I don't do that. I invite it to live in me while I'm with each person. So I'm not in my own personality when I'm working with these people, especially when I'm privately working with them, when I'm doing the group even. Because people will tell me at the end, how did you know my spine was hurt? How did you said this? No, because I'm really doing this. See, I care deeply for my own health so much. I care so much for my own health that I thrive. And when I thrive, I send ripples of manifestations into the lives of the people I'm around and that I work with. See, my talent is not just purposeful. It creates also, for me, a rich quality of life. A quality of life that I'm proud of, and I'm loyal to the people who are serious about growth. So, and the thing I love about them is they show up and they do the work. And that's what makes specificity sacred. We need to be clear and to know what we want. That's what makes it. Um, that's what makes it liberation with clarity. Specificity. So, do you find yourself asking, what am I doing here in this muddy, murky mess? Well, think about our ancestors. And just like Melissa mentioned Harriet Tubman, how she kept going south when she really didn't have to, all those times, think about the ones who made a difference in our lives, more so than all of the other things. Okay? Remember all of that. She knew how to be invisible, but she knew who she can count on, and she knew her talent was I can get us all through this. Somebody else had another talent, but she took hers. Remember, our ancestors, when you ask yourself, what am I doing in this mess? We could be anywhere, but we're here. We're in this work. We're in this moment because we are specific to be here every single week, the weeks we come, and it is sacred. So specificity is not limitation. Just because you have to stop and think about it and you're not limiting yourself. You need to get that thing understood. That's where your reflection comes from. Because this is the thing, what we know about that in science of mind is that when the law of specificity is in motion, we are getting a response very clearly based on our mental equivalent. And you know what that means is what my mind is on. If I'm thinking foggy or general or unfocused, the law is going to reflect that right back to me. Clarity creates, specificity manifests. And here's the quote from Science of Mind that I wanted to make sure we understood that. Indefiniteness of thought produces indecisive spiritual reaction. And indefiniteness of thought produces indecisive spiritual reaction. That means that if we're indecisive, spirit is indecisive because spirit is us. And so the more definite we think, the better we manifest. So that's why in affirmative prayer, we have to be specific. We have to know what we're desiring in it, and we speak as if it's already done. We know that's how it works, and then we direct our attention, intention, clearly into the universal law, right? Don't we do that? We say, I release this to the Lord, knowing it will only return to me as this beautiful new idea that I picked up from myself in my reflection. So give yourself the power that you got from your ancestors and pray over that. And the more power in your prayer, remember, this is important. We are the ocean. Put the power in the prayer. You already know what you are. We are the survivors of our ancestors. We are the undrowned. So don't go down anymore. Come on up, because that's why specificity matters. Because when we remember who we came from, and who we truly are, we got it. So remember that long line we come through, because we're not here by accident, but we are spiritual beings anchored in the bodies that are strong enough to hold the divine. So listen to this next song. Who we are the world. We create the world. We are part of the world, so let's act like it. Let's be that. Listen to the song, We Are the World. We are the children. Whose children? The ancestors. There comes a time when we got to heed this call. Sometimes you get up in the middle of the night and you're dreaming. Those are the ancestors. We are the world. We are the children. We can make the choice. Just you and me. We could be all one. Our ancestors heard the call. That's why Harriet did what she did. Oh, so many of them. I just didn't name them all today. But they rose in the courage that they had. You got the same thing, the same power, with the vision, with the strength, and beyond measure. You don't have to measure you. All you got to do is do your reflection. And now, guess what we are? We are the world. It's so true. We are the continuation, the brilliance, the resilience. They specify, right? They are specific. They were specific, and we are too. So I'm going to say to don't be distracted by someone out there that's telling you all these crazy things, because that's why you don't get to remember you are the world, because you're distracted by other things in the world. Remove the shackles off your brain and let go of the distractions and accept the fact that we are the children of the ancestors. When the team gets together, they get together. So thank you. I want to first give out the big kudos to everybody, like Horace the Bush with all his quotes all the time as he did the MC for us. So thank you, Horace. And thanks to our awesome, wait a minute, my awesome friend, Reverend Sonja, out there from California, that she opened us up and gave us a nice, beautiful prayer to set me off. So that was very good. And thank you, Melissa. Man, you and those blue eyes, when you was talking about the ocean, that's what I saw, was the blue eyes. And the way you just delivered, beautiful girl. You're something. That's the girl from Tennessee, Melissa. So thank you, Melissa. You always read with that powerful expression. And so also, oh, thank you, Melissa, also because you're spotlighting for us. Okay, and greeting. And thanks, Alan, for the music and the announcements. And also, once again, Mo is always sending out those emails to us for us to end it by emails, you know. So, all right, did I get everybody, Alan? Thank you so much, dear. So, before we close out, today, you know that what it was all about. Here we go. The power of specificity. So remember that this week. You're going to have a tongue twisting time trying to do it, but at least remember the word, right? Now, I invite you to think and remember our ancestors so that we can remember who we are, and we are the one undrowned. Here's another thing. I have billions of friends of all races, but you know what? What I find is that the ones that, like the whites that I deal with, it's all because of the same ancestors. They were the same people that were here all before. The same people that were right by all of everybody back then are the same people here. So, it's just a certain sector that continued. The supremacy part, I'm just saying. So, guys, remember, our ancestors are powerful no matter who we are. So, remember, we were all born free to roam just this big, beautiful, vast ocean. I just want to bring that point out so that everybody see we choose to live where we live because that's the power of our specificity, right? So I just want you to remember that because this song that I'm talking about is amazing. And so what happens is because we know who we are, we get to do amazing things. We choose to live the way we live. We choose to be together, all of us, for 5 years. All of us. Melissa started day one. We chose this. And now we're soaring and we can do more amazing things. I know for a fact that CSL Charlotte is ready for amazing things just based on this. So we are here to do that. So listen to this song, Amazing, by Michael Gott. It, Melissa, you will do it, Robert, you will do it, Mo, you will do it, Horace. We will do amazing things. But you gotta use that power from the ancestors. And we also gotta realize that that power of specificity is ours already. It was born in us, so we can do amazing things. Let me ask you just one question before I give this mic back. Oh, no, I don't give the mic to nobody yet. What do I do? Okay, right, this is what we do. Because let me just say this. What amazing things do you have planned for yourself so far? Good. So, Reverend Sonia, I'm telling you, that song gets me, man. Reverend Sonia, please pray us out.
And it is a beautiful song. And I just invite everyone to take a deep breath. This was an amazing service today. You have an amazing minister, Reverend Rosedale, who brought us the truth today. And so as we close this service, we remember that though the waters may become murky, and maybe there might be murmurs that want to keep us in fear, we know that there is something greater inside of us. We know that we listen to the voice of our ancestors through our dreams, and they give us inspiration to just know the strength that they have displayed and the strength that we have within us to display, and to go and live out our dreams, swim like the dolphins, free, unimpeded, and just stand in our power in all that we do. So giving thanks for this beautiful remembrance today in this service of who and whose we are, I say thank you. And with great gratitude, I let this go, knowing that we have received all that we need to live a life of purpose and meaning. So I let go and I let God, and so it is.
And so it is, girl. You just hit it home. Hit the ball home, Sonja. Yes, 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 yes. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So, as we wrap up today and this beautiful time we spent, know that the power of specificity, guess where it is? It's in us already. So as we leave today, don't leave it as a I'm leaving it. Remember this sacred space we made here today. Remember in your heart, open it up and let spirit be open into you and let that power of specificity come out every time you make a decision this week. The universe is always responding, always reflecting off of what we say and supporting our path. So with that, all you need to do is take time for reflection on that mirror, and also in this moment, in this step, take this breath right quick. And so until we meet again, let's practice in the silence this week so that we can figure out what amazing things we're going to do this week. And so it is.